In September 2008, the Western financial system collapsed. $10 trillion in household wealth was destroyed. 8 million Americans lost their jobs. One senior banker went to prison. Here are 8 of the people most responsible, and exactly where they are now. Number 8. Angelo Mozilo. Mozilo was the chief executive of Countrywide Financial, at its peak, the largest mortgage lender in the United States. Between 2006 and 2008, while Countrywide was approving mortgages that Mozilo privately described as poison, he sold $140 million in company stock. In internal emails recovered by SEC investigators, Mozilo wrote that Countrywide's subprime loans were, and this is a direct quote, the most dangerous product in existence. He was writing this in emails. He was simultaneously signing public statements assuring investors that Countrywide's fundamentals were sound. The SEC charged him with insider trading and securities fraud in 2009. Mozilo settled for $67.5 million. Most of it was paid by Countrywide's insurer, not by Mozilo personally. No criminal charges were ever filed. Number 7. Dick Fuld. Fuld was the chief executive of Lehman Brothers, the 158-year-old investment bank that collapsed in September 2008. Under Fuld's leadership, Lehman Brothers employed an accounting technique called Repo 105. Here is how it worked. At the end of each financial quarter, Lehman would temporarily move approximately $50 billion in liabilities off its balance sheet by classifying short-term loans as sales. The liabilities would return to the books days later, after the quarter had been reported. An independent examiner's report found this constituted actionable balance sheet manipulation. Between 2000 and 2008, Dick Fuld received approximately $484 million in compensation from Lehman Brothers. No criminal charges were ever filed against Fuld. He now runs a private investment firm. Number 6. Lloyd Blankfein. Goldman Sachs occupies a unique position in the 2008 crisis. While other banks were caught holding mortgage-backed securities they believed were sound, Goldman was different. Goldman's own internal emails show traders actively betting against the same products they were selling to clients. In one email released during Senate investigation, a Goldman trader described a deal the firm was selling to clients as, and this is a direct quote, "one shitty deal." Goldman collected fees for creating and selling these products. Goldman collected profits from betting against them. Goldman paid $550 million to settle SEC fraud charges. No admission of wrongdoing. No criminal charges were filed against blank fine or any Goldman executive. Goldman's profit in 2009, the year after the crisis it helped create, was $13.4 billion, its highest profit on record at that time. Number 5. Stan O'Neill. O'Neill was the chief executive of Merrill Lynch, one of Wall Street's oldest and most storied institutions. Between 2005 and 2007, Merrill Lynch accumulated $52 billion in CDO exposure. Internal risk management reports warned repeatedly that the concentration was dangerous. O'Neill approved the expansion of the positions anyway. In October 2007, Merrill Lynch reported a $7.9 billion quarterly loss. 2 weeks later, O'Neill resigned. His exit package was $161 million. To be clear, O'Neill resigned after overseeing the worst quarterly loss in Merrill Lynch's history. He left with $161 million. No criminal charges were ever filed. Number 4. The rating agencies. Every mortgage-backed security that banks created required a credit rating from Moody's or Standard & Poor's. Both agencies assigned AAA ratings, the highest possible, to thousands of securities their own analysts privately assessed as high risk. Internal Moody's emails from 2006 show an analyst writing that the firm would rate any deal, and I quote, "It could be structured by cows, and we would rate it." Pension funds and insurance companies bought these securities specifically because of those AAA ratings. When the securities collapsed, those institutions, and the ordinary people whose money they held, lost trillions. Moody's paid $864 million to the DOJ in 2017. S&P paid $1.375 billion in 2015. Neither firm admitted wrongdoing. No individual executive was charged. Both firms are still rating securities today. Number 3. Christopher Cox. Cox is the only person on this list who was not a banker. He was the chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, the regulator responsible for overseeing the financial system. Under Cox's leadership, the SEC adopted a voluntary supervision program for major investment banks, a program under which the banks largely regulated themselves. Under Cox's leadership, leverage ratios at the 5 largest investment banks were allowed to reach levels of 30-to-1 and higher. Under Cox's leadership, the SEC investigated Bernie Madoff and found nothing. A 2009 Inspector General report found that the SEC had missed numerous opportunities to detect fraud, and that the agency's culture had discouraged aggressive enforcement. After the crisis, Cox said he regretted the voluntary supervision decision. He returned to private law practice No legal consequences of any kind were imposed. Number 2. Robert Rubin. Before joining Citigroup, he served as Secretary of the Treasury under President Clinton. As Treasury Secretary, Rubin supported the repeal of Glass-Steagall, the Depression-era law that separated commercial and investment banking. When that separation ended, banks could combine deposit-taking with speculative trading. He then left government and joined Citigroup, the institution that benefited most from the deregulation he had championed. During this period, Citigroup accumulated over $55 billion in CDO exposure. Citigroup required a $45 billion government bailout. Between 1999 and 2009, Rubin received approximately $126 million in pay from Citigroup. He left the firm in January 2009. No legal consequences of any kind. Number 1. This is the case that proves the point. Karim Sarageldin was the global head of structured credit at Credit Suisse. He directed traders to falsify the prices of bonds to hide approximately $1 billion in losses. He was convicted. He pleaded guilty. He served 30 months in federal prison. He is the only senior financial executive who went to prison for conduct directly related to the 2008 financial crisis. Not the executives who built and sold the CDOs that triggered the collapse. Not the executives who took $484 million while their firms imploded. Not the executives who sold their own stock while calling their products poison. Not the executives who left with $161 million after the worst quarterly loss in their firm's history. Not the executives who helped dismantle the regulations and then profited from the deregulation. Not the regulators who cleared the fraudster 8 times and called it due diligence. Karim Sarageldin, mid-level executive, $1 billion in hidden losses, 30 months. That is the full accounting of American criminal justice after the largest financial crisis in 80 years. 8 names, 8 institutions, $10 trillion in losses. 1 conviction. The fines were paid. The settlements were signed. Nobody admitted wrongdoing. The bonuses were paid the following year. No one goes to prison. And the system that made 2008 possible is still in place. This is what Guilty and Free documents. Real cases, verified facts, no arrests. Next week, the pharma company that created an epidemic and kept every dollar. Subscribe. They got away with it, but not with you watching.